All right, so this is going to be a quick YouTube video on how we cash collected 11K from one single YouTube video, the entire system behind it. And I'm not just saying that because we actually have the tracking data to prove it. Now, 11K might not seem that crazy, but this is first click and last click attribution to one specific video, right? So they saw the page, they clicked it, YouTube, and they booked a call directly from the YouTube and then closed right after that, right? So it's first click, last click attribution. And again, this is the proof right here. You can see we pretty much, 11K from 5 bookings, 7 forms, and 86 clicks. And we get $3 per view. Again, this could be definitely optimized, but for a channel this is like an outlier video by 4 or 5x, honestly pretty decent, right? And I'm going to break down the entire system, the YouTube system, the CRM processes, and everything we use on the back end to actually nurture these people even further, and then the sales process that we use to actually go and close them, get feedback, and then keep reiterating ideas to close more deals, right? So it's like a feedback loop in a way. And all of this piece of infrastructure was live before the actual video was, right? So the CRM, the email sequences, the booking flow, the revenue tracking, before a video was even published, we had all this stuff built out so that the conversion rates on these videos were super high, right? So again, as you can see, we had 5 bookings and we collected 11K in cash from it just from this video. Just kind of goes to show you that it's a very dialed in process. It's very efficient. And then even if you look at the booking percentage, 71% of form submissions booked a call. So that's that. And then also, even on this form, it's very tailored, right? So like if anybody has under 2K, they cannot even book a call. So what you're probably seeing here from this drop off from like 7 form submissions to 5 bookings was those 2 people were not qualified. Therefore, they didn't even book a call. They weren't even allowed to book a call, right? So that also just goes to show you the system that we're using actually attracts qualified leads into your funnel. So obviously you're going to have an easier time converting them, as you can see. So step one, which is the YouTube side, I'm going to explain what most people do and what we do differently to ideate these videos and make sure, we're actually doing the right stuff. So first things first, everybody else in YouTube pretty much enters here, right? Everybody else in your niche, they just script a hook. It's around the voice note that I mentioned around here, but most people, they don't even do that, right? They just script a hook, see what's working, maybe script out a video and then go from there. They make a quick little mural board. They have a CTA, and then they just see the result. What we actually end up doing before any of this even happens, right? So the actual scripting, the hook, the mural board, CTA, and then obviously the result, is we do deep research into the ICP and the problems that this ICP is having, right? So for example, in this video, the video title was, how to sell your first clothing brand drop, right? The ICP that we're selling to is more of a B2C coaching program about how to scale your clothing brand, just from like whatever you're doing right now till past 10, 15, 20K a month. And so our ICP, we knew from one sales call data and then just like research that we're doing, they have dropped multiple times before, maybe, right? Once, twice, 3 times, but they've never been able to sell out. They've never been able to market their product in the right way to attract customers that will buy from them. And so the entire idea of that video was literally straight from sales calls that we saw, right? Sales calls, and also, again, like I said, other research that we do outside of it, right? Like what do most clothing brands struggle with? Well, they struggle to sell out their drops. So once we found out what the ICP is and what the problems they're facing, I have the creator send me a 5-minute voice note, right? This guy runs a 7-figure clothing brand, and it's directly from his knowledge and his expertise. He sends me a 5-minute voice note about the actual learning part of the topic. And then what I go ahead and do is take that voice note, convert it into a script, create an actual hook for it that will retain the viewers. And then we go ahead, I have a VA do this process right here, create a mural board, build the visuals, maximizes watch time, because again, you don't want your video to look stupid. You don't want it to look boring. Otherwise, people are actually not going to stick around and watch, right? Especially if you're selling more to a B2C market. And even for a B2B market, visuals are always good, right? Then again, we have a CTA at the end of the video, and the results from it was $11,000, right? The thing is, right now, the info trust market is very, very low, right? The trust of the market is really low. So to actually stand out from everybody else, you need to build a brand circled around value, right? everybody back in 2021, 2022, you could literally just slap an ad with a Lambo and you would sell your coaching program or whatever, right? However, now since the market is very saturated, you need to do more than just the normal stuff to actually stand out, which is exactly what we're focusing on with this client. Is very value dense and value packed videos, because what that allows you to do is stand out as a person of authority within these specific markets, right? And if you're not a person of authority within these specific markets, you're just not going to be able to go ahead and convert. And so that's exactly what our CTA converted on, right? He was a person of authority. That's what happened. And then that's where we're going to go. So step 2 was the actual back end, right? So like obviously we had the YouTube video bring in the leads on the front end. They were getting nurtured. They saw the value. They saw the video. So what do we actually do after that? And this is the machine that we use to actually pre-close people before they even hop on the closing call, right? So first things first, right? Once the video link click happens, they book in a call, it gets logged into our CRM. We have a bunch of value-based email sequences depending on how they actually answer the question. So it's a lot tailored to their situation, whether they're more of like, okay, again, like I said, more of a beginner, whether they're more intermediate, they need more help like in the intermediate stages of their brand, or they want help scaling past like 40, 50K a month. But again, for this specific video, it's going to be more beginners just from the nature of like how to sell out your first drop, right? So the email sequences that we built out are more tailored towards someone who's just starting out. And then we'd have a setter pre-call before the closer, right? This kind of just gathers in more data about the lead. We can figure out why they actually clicked this video, what resonated with them about this video. It just get more actual manual data from the lead. You know what I mean? And that way, when we're going to reiterate and make new videos, we know exactly what to fire on. And there's a quicker feedback loop in that sense. And then finally, we have post-booking page videos also to handle objections. And so I'm going to speak about this a little bit later, the whole post-booking page videos. I know a lot of people do breakout videos, confirmation videos, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to talk a little bit deeper into how our YouTube system actually plays into these confirmation post-booking page videos and gives the lead a higher chance of closing, essentially, because of the stuff that they're consuming. And obviously, finally, the only thing left on their call is a fear objection, right? Every other logistical objection, money objection, all the other objections, our goal is to handle that before the call even happens, right? Which is what happens in the email sequences, what happens when the setter calls them, the reframing beliefs, et cetera, et cetera. And then finally, obviously, the post-booking page does a lot of the other objection handling, right? And that's exactly how we got, 70, 75% show rate for this offer. Obviously not the craziest, but for a B2C biz op style offer, it's not the worst. And then step 3, right? The feedback loop. And so this is where I'm going to talk a little bit more about how our system plays within the post-booking page videos, right? So the system actually gets smarter every single week the more sales calls that we take, right? So this is how it works. Every single time a closer takes a call after the call, whether they win, whether they lose, it doesn't matter. We have a post-call form, pretty standard, pretty normal. But what we do in this post-call form is we actually see what the objection is, and we have the closer describe in detail what the objection that they have is, right? Obviously, you could have a fear objection, for example, but the fear objection could stem from, oh, I don't want to lose money with my brand. Oh, I don't know if this is going to work out, etc. There could be like 10 different sub-objections under that umbrella of, oh, it's just a fear objection. So like I said, we have the post-call form going. There's an objection, every hesitation, the pattern gets identified, right? So we have this all stored within our tracking database where it's structured, searchable, it's queryable. So we actually know how many fear objections we're getting, how many money objections we're getting, how many partner objections we're getting, right? And so what we do is we take the ideas, right? So like the objection that we're getting, we take this, we identify a pattern, and then we actually use that to ideate a video, right? That's how we came up with this winning format of like how to sell out your first drop, because an objection that we got, or something our ICP wants to know is, oh man, I don't have enough money because I didn't sell my first drop out yet. So now because of this video, they got enough value. They're coming to us in our program, maybe already have sold their first drop directly from the information we've given them. And now they're going to be way more likely to buy from us because they've already experienced a quick win within the systems that we have, right? And so the reason this kind of plays in with the post-booking confirmation pages, again, what does a confirmation page do? It's supposed to handle objections. It's supposed to increase your show rate so that they actually resonate with what you have to offer, et cetera, et cetera. But we have our YouTube doing it at the same time as our post booking page does it, right? Because our YouTube now, and the way it's structured now, is every single potential objection that a lead may or may not have, we have it covered on a long form 10 to 15 minute video, right? And now it's like, oh shoot, they're walking into every single call with like most of their problems solved, right? And again, the quicker you can give these people a win, right, the more likely they're actually going to buy into what you have to say, right? Like, let's just say this guy goes and implements that exact drop process, drop strategy, and he goes and sells out his drop. He is going to come back and buy from us, right? Whether it's today, whether it's a week from now, whether it's a month from now, whether it's 60 days from now, he's going to come back and buy because he's going to want to take his brand to the next level, right? So we also swap the positioning of the offer, and our YouTube front end is like a lot of stuff just about from beginner to advanced. And so we have a lot of people from all across the spectrum. But now we started kind of going towards a little bit more of like intermediate, like doing 4, 5, 6K a month with their brand. But again, going back to what I was saying before I got off topic, this exact process is what we use to ideate videos, right? So this data makes every video better, right? Because the content gets more targeted, more objections get pre-handled, and now the calls are getting easier to close because before even going on the confirmation page, before even booking a call, their problem has somewhat been solved, right? So they're going to come in way more nurtured, way better, right? So just to give you guys a high level overview of what we just covered, YouTube brings in the right people, the CRM converts them, the sale process actually closes them, and then the data that we gain from the sales process makes every single video better, right? And so the videos after that we've done for this specific creator, again, they've started to get more outlier. We've been collecting cash from like pretty much every YouTube video since then, especially because the YouTube videos that we're making are hyper targeted towards the ICP, right? When someone comes through our funnel, we are going to capitalize on them one way or another, whether it's through actually closing them and collecting cash from them, or two, finding out problems within our ICP and tailoring solutions, YouTube videos, long form content, short form content towards them. That's the entire system that we use to do it. And for this client, we've literally used this process to take him we doubled his cash collected in 1 month, right? He was doing 24K a month. We came in, implemented these systems and a bunch of other stuff as well to go along with it, and collected 50K in the first 30 days of working together, literally doubled it. And it's not like he was getting more leads or whatever. It was literally the same exact lead flow, just better systems and processes to actually nurture these people. And so if you want this exact system implemented in your business, right? So like the YouTube infrastructure, the sales team, the funnels, the data tracking softwares and stuff that we use, it's all custom, right? Custom coded dashboards and data tracking. You can book a call with the link in my description. We'll go over, see if it's going to be a good fit, and then we'll kind of go from there. But yeah, if you guys have any other questions, feel free to leave it in the comments. I'll be answering them. And yeah, see you guys in the next video.